Hello, English 11 honors. This is Mr. Vester, and the e-learning assignment for Wednesday is going to be pertained to your Pride and Prejudice essay. What I would like for you to do is choose one of your paragraphs that you've either written or are about to write, and check for the following things that I have listed here. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is commas. As studied earlier in the year, this seems to be one of our bigger problems. So it's something I think we need to take a look at before we turn these in. So keep in mind that, if you're using or choose to use, two different subjects in your sentence and they each have their own verb, when we're using a conjunction, that we're going to need a comma before that conjunction. On the other hand, let's say you say, Elizabeth did this and this, then we got one subject, two verbs, and we don't need a comma there. Also keep in mind, using commas with introductory phrases and any sort of, non-essential information that the sentence doesn't need. The next thing I want you to take a look at is semicolons. We also did this earlier in the year, last time we wrote a paper. So this can be used to replace the first example above there, where I have two subjects and two verbs. That way it just kind of gives us a little opportunity to change our sentence structures and get a little sentence variety in there as well. So it can be used to replace the first example up top there with the commas. But we need to keep in mind that, on both sides of the semicolon, you're going to need a complete sentence. So just make sure that that's something that you're aware of as you're taking a look at your essay and seeing, where you could potentially do this, because that's going to be your assignment. Same thing with colons, right? Colons can be used again, just to change sentence structure, sentence variety, and you can have, but you need complete sentences on both sides again. This is not something we do a whole lot, but if you want to try to work that into your paper, that's fine. I'd rather you use the colon with one of your quotes that you plan on using. So, for example, let's say that you're using your quote from the critical theory text. You can kind of give us a heads up about what Lois Tyson said or explains in her text, and then use the actual quote from that text in the second part of the sentence. So obviously the same thing applies to quotes that you're using from the novel as well. Okay, so the first part of the sentence, Elizabeth, stands up to Mr. Darcy during the first proposal, and then you would, put a colon there, and then you could insert the entire quote that you want to use from our text. So hopefully you already have all that ready to roll with those paper proposals that we did, and you should be able to kind of just use them seamlessly as you're writing the paper. So again, remember, I moved the date back to Friday, and if we need more time than that, I completely understand. We're all just going to have to do what we can do here going forward. I did post a PowerPoint which should look familiar, that kind of gives you some more concrete examples of those things, and that's on Google Classroom under materials. And then the assignment, as I stated earlier there, just take one of the paragraphs that you've done so far or are working on, and double check for your comma use, and try to use a semicolon correctly and a colon correctly somewhere within that paragraph. Okay, and then you just, as always, send me a PDF so I could look over that and we'll go from there. So that's what we're going to try to focus on for Wednesday. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and stay tuned for the next thing, because our next e-learning assignment will also probably apply to the paper, have you look over different things there, just as a little refresher of some of the things we haven't talked about in a while. So, stay safe, stay healthy, everyone, and I'll see you next time.